Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. For this month's Bird Notes program, we're going to focus on healthy wildlife habitats, particularly for birds. Joining us from the Green Mountain Audubon Center in Huntington is bird expert and conservation biologist Mark LaBarr. Thanks so much for being with us, Mark. Great to see you.
Always great to be here, even if it's at a little distance, Fran.
Yeah, indeed. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about what's ongoing work and some that's been completed regarding healthy habitats around the state.
So last year at about this time, we had biologist Dave Adams on from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department to talk about a program called the Habitat Stamp Program. Mm-hmm. And this is a great program that's been around since 2015. And basically what it is, folks can go online or when they're getting their hunting and fishing license, they can sign up for this program and they get a habitat stamp sent to them in the mail. And there's a new one every year. And this money goes to all sorts of habitat projects that the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department does across the state. This past year, we were lucky to work with them to spend some of that habitat money. And we did a number of projects, one that we got in before the virus hit, before COVID. Mm-hmm. And that was at a park, Japragues Park in Hinesburg. And we did that with the Hinesburg Conservation Commission. They helped us financially with that. They're the ones that oversee the park. It's a great place for birders to go. And by the way, I encourage birders to buy a habitat stamp. It has a lot of good species. And then this past spring, we were able to do some work with the Intervale, doing some plantings on one of the wildlife managements in the Champlain Valley.
Okay, so you were at the town park in Hinesburg in a state wildlife management area, along with biologists from Vermont's Fish and Wildlife Department. So tell us about that.
So it was great. So I work closely with Andrea Shortsleeve. She's a biologist, as you said, with Vermont Fish and Wildlife, and she oversees a lot of the projects with the Habitat Stamp Program, as well as working with landowners. She's been a great partner, and so I was lucky enough to get her to come out, do the social distance thing, and visit a couple of the project sites.
Let's take a look.
We're further along the trail as we head up on the ridgeline here at Japragues. And Andrea and I are standing right where a large buckthorn tree was. You can see the vegetation has already grown back. We ground this buckthorn down in the winter of last December, and the regeneration has been great, but these are the gaps that we like to do with our management, which focuses on invasive species removal. And here at Japragues, that's primarily what we've been doing. So this is great habitat for all sorts of stuff as it starts to come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we've got, it's great. We've heard blue-winged warblers, and I'll talk about him a little bit later, and other birds that are certainly using this site, but removing those invasives is a definite plus for all the suite of species that use this habitat. Let's walk on a little further.
Let's do it.
So here we are at what I call the second bench at Japragues, where we've done management before, and you can see the regeneration of dogwood that's coming in for management that we did maybe 4 or 5 years ago here. Dogwood is great, Andrea. It's going to flower here, provide a lot of pollinators with access. It's going to produce berries in the fall. It's a native. And Japragues Park is a public park, but you've worked with a lot of private landowners as part of the Habitat Stamp Program too, right?
Yeah, that's mostly what I focus on, is working with private landowners. So I'll go out to people's property and talk to them about how they can create this kind of habitat on their own land and get rid of invasive plants and just make it more wildlife friendly.
And do you help them out with potential funding sources for that work?
We try to line them up with things like the EQIP program from NRCS, or just try to line them up with other landowner groups like Vermont Covers, Vermont Woodlands Association, and just try to build that network and support for private landowners.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, we throw those acronyms around like
so easy.
Yeah. They have a program called the Environmental Quality Incentive Program, which helps offset landowners' costs to do this kind of management on their land. And you actually kind of work with NRCS in order to make that happen.
Yeah, we have a really good partner agreement. So they do a lot of the paperwork and the office work, and I get to go out with the landowner and help lay it out and just give the advice on how to do it.
It's awesome that the stamp program and just all these partnerships come together to make this habitat available for the suite of birds, anywhere from, we're focusing on young forest shrubland birds, but certainly forest birds. And you said there's a riparian fish component as well.
Yeah, we do a lot of riparian stream bank restoration. So that means planting along river banks, getting rid of culverts that block the passage of fish moving up and down streams, and a lot of work to remove invasive species along the waterways.
And we're going to head off and visit another site at the Lewis Creek Stream Bank Wildlife Management Area, where we actually used habitat stamp funding in order to do some riparian and kind of an innovative riparian plantings too.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get there.
Sounds great.
So we've taken a little trip down the road from the park, and we're now at the Lewis Creek Stream Bank Wildlife Management Area, which is kind of a diffuse management area that extends all along the Lewis Creek. And we've done some planting here to kind of build a buffer here at the, along the riparian habitat. Now, wildlife management areas, as we know, from a birding perspective, are great.
Right.
I mean, we've got Dead Creek, which is probably the best known one, but they're stretched all over the state.
All over.
And they provide
great places not only to hunt and fish, but to bird watch, to hike, to paddle, and really just get outside and enjoy Vermont's beauty.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis Creek Wildlife Management Area, you can put your canoe, not Lewis Creek rather, but Otter Creek.
Otter Creek, we've got Mallett's Creek, we've got places all over in the Northeast Kingdom that you can paddle through. It's really a great resource.
And just an expansive amount of wildlife. I mean, some of these wildlife management areas are up in the hills, and some of them are right down low along the lake.
Valley bottoms.
Yeah. So it's great. Again, habitat stamp, it's a great thing to donate to, because it not only does things like Japrags Park, but it also is really important to not only maintaining the wildlife areas, but also creating them. So you've purchased, they've been able to add to or purchase to a number?
So this is actually our 100th anniversary of the first wildlife management area that the state of Vermont has bought. And that was the sandbar on the lake.
Yep.
And so in the last 100 years, we've been able to purchase 100 different parcels of land across the state to preserve for their unique characteristics and just for wildlife habitat.
Excellent. And I know they've always kind of been used as for consumptive purposes, hunting, fishing. And even right now with the habitat stamp, those folks, and they deserve a lot of credit, they're the ones that are continuing to give a lot of the funding towards this program.
Year after year.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
So that's why we really want to get everybody involved so the state can continue to do more of this great work. And some of that work is what we're standing in front of now. We did plantings here, as I mentioned before, but we kind of approached it differently. With the increasing deer population in the state, we're really concerned that any plantings we put in will just get eaten down by the deer.
Right.
So what we did was, in each one of these clusters of plantings, we have two central tree species that we planted. In this one, it's basswood and a silver maple. And then around that, we planted dogwood. So it'll grow up first, hopefully, and provide a protective barrier. And just to make sure that the deer don't get in that, we put up deer fencing around these as well. And that'll keep the deer out and give these plants a chance to really get started.
Right. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. And We've numbered each one of these. There's 10 different plots around the edge of the property here, and we'll keep track of it over time. So we'll be able to see how the seedlings respond to the deer fencing, and hopefully it'll become a tool that the state can use on some of the other wildlife management areas.
Replicate it over and over.
Yeah.
Great story, Mark, and I love the dogwood versus the buckthorn anywhere, so that's wonderful. Remind us, what are the prioritized species that are helped by the Vermont Habitat Stat Program?
So, there's a wealth of different species. The ones we focus on, I've talked about before. This is the golden-winged warbler. So we're really looking, Japrags Park is a hot spot for golden wings and their cousins, counterparts, the blue-winged warbler, as well as a number of other species. Lewis Creek is the same way, that shrub young forest habitat. We get things like American woodcock, which is another priority species. This is a bird that we often hear and don't necessarily see in April and such, but an important species that benefits from this young forest habitat. So, some of the other birds that are on the state species of greatest conservation of need is the eastern towhee, it's declining. And things, things like the field sparrow as well. There's a towhee.
There's the towhee, right. And I think we have a field sparrow as well. There we go. Yeah.
So those are two birds that, because this habitat is declining, their populations have been declining. And so much of this work that we're doing with the habitat stamp is trying to support those species. But as Andrea mentioned, they've done a lot of money, or funding of purchases of land so that Vermonters have a place to go for whatever reason.
Yeah, some partnerships here. We only have about a half a minute left, so.
Okay, so I worked with, the folks from the Intervale. That's them putting in that fence. And, the other thing, too, was we worked with a contractor in order to use a machine to grind some of that down. There's Brian Washburn and Andrea, and that's the sign that goes out on each one of these habitat stamp projects.
Great.
There's a little machine.
We got to go, and if people want here's your information. If people want to get in touch with Mark LaBarr, you can get him at the Audubon Society, MLaBarr at audubon.org. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to your reports anytime you come here. Thank you so much.
Always good to be here.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.